Hey, happy Friday to you.
Good morning. Happy Friday back.
It's much better than happy Thursday. We weren't too happy with yesterday's Thursday, and that's all I really need to say about that. Uh, a number of things happened that were giant, uh, I guess you'd say, obstacles to having a show for Thursday, so there wasn't one. And so you won't be seeing that on your invoice when you get your monthly bill. No, I'm just kidding. There's no invoices. So on Happy Friday, as you know, we do a weekly wrap up of this week's links and whatnot's going on. And we'll have the show notes available to you for the links of all the episodes, as always, at theguyarkirkreport.podbean.com. Thank you, Kellen, for that graphic. And when you get there, last Monday past, on the 13th, we talked about three things. One was the Pixlr.com WAC editor, an online editor for image and graphic manipulation that you can enjoy and use. The second thing that we did was to say that you should use a password vault. When you get a number of logins, don't use the same username and password. Please, for everything, because once they get that, they've got the keys to all of the castle and every room they're in. So it's better to have a separate key. You know, like in hotels, one key doesn't open all the doors. You should do the same thing with your passwords and logins. And the third thing we talked about on Monday was getting Twitter into the mix. There are some people that don't use Twitter for social media. I don't know why. It works for me.
It works for me too.
Yeah, weren't you saying the other day you did a tweet?
Yes,
you got like 700.
Yeah, yesterday I sent a tweet, and it's been accessed or viewed or interaction 700 times.
Wow!
In 24 hours. That's a lot of. That's a lot of. It works.
That's a good one. So on Tuesday we talked about SEO tips, and primarily we've dealt with how important the title of your web page, your blog, your online presence, what that has to do with search engine optimization, and how to identify flaws in that title and correct them, and use the open graph tag for your title and so forth. And then, as always, sometimes I say it, not often enough, if it isn't tested, it doesn't work. Even if you're doing a show like this, make sure that you have the audio from all other sources turned off, that you're monitoring it with the correct headphones. I learned this from experience, and we won't say how recently, but it could have been yesterday. And make a test of your backup system. If you've got a system in WordPress or Joomla or Drupal, something that's database driven, and you've got that all in a nice, tidy, this is your backup package. Have you tested it? Remember what I just said about if it isn't tested, it doesn't work? Exactly. Fire up a computer, test your backup, make sure that it delivers what's promised. That way you know you have a really good backup in it. No sense having it if it doesn't work. The Wednesday show on the mind, and that's just a blank canvas that we give it to talk about anything we want to talk about, is we did the simple thing of the planning session. You did that, right? So the question, what do I do first, is answered as simple as this. You have a planning session. You talk about good websites. If you research it, the good websites have a good plan. It sounds redundant, but it's true. The ones that are the winners go out on the playing field, the internet highway, or whatever you want to call it, and they have a playbook. They know what they're going to do when they get there. They know why they're there, who's going to meet them there, what they're going to do when they talk to them, and how often they're going to see them, things like that. So the planning session guide from Wednesday's show is pretty good. Thursday, we've already talked about, enough said, done deal. It's over with. It didn't happen as far as online presence. And maybe if there's a Christmas blooper reel someday, we'll have that show recording. Oh boy. And so now we're going to do the shout outs. And of course, we always start with our good friends at Edinburgh Dusters, the company that likes to clean. If you're on that side of the Atlantic Ocean and you need cleaning done in your apartment, your flat, your rental, whatever, And Scotland, I'm sure, has a number of names for them. As many names as they have for malt liquor, they have for cleaning companies.
I'm sure, yeah.
But the company that likes to clean, the name of that one is Edinburgh Dusters. That's who you should call if you need that done. Thanks to Huzza.io for giving us the space to do this recording in this morning. And as always, we're recording with a good program for Windows to do on-screen recording called Screencast-O-Matic. If you're watching this show on YouTube, which some of you are, you'll notice the definition is pretty good. You can see the individual hairs on my head. That's because Screencast-O-Matic, this newest version, does a great job of recording on the screen. And the other things that we've tried it with is in Blab, there's an interface there, or excuse me, interface. There's a channel there that's called Friends Just Chatting. And Kelvin, my co-host over here sitting next to me, is kind of the moderator, the quarterback in that huddle, if you want to use the football analogy. And we're talking American football, not soccer. And Friends Just Chatting is exactly that, Friends Just Chatting. This morning, there was Denmark, Netherlands, England, because they're all 8 hours ahead of me or more, and myself were in there talking about stuff. Many and varied talked about cars and pricing stuff and different things. So give that a go. That's very enjoyable. And so, and if you're on the YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up. That matters to somebody someplace. It gives us a good go. The one thing I forgot to say, and I know me forget something, but it's true. The show notes for Thursday, even though there wasn't a show, there will be 4 links in there, 4 different resources. If you're starting a business, you're in business online, give those a go. The Startup Contest, the Content Marketing Academy podcast, Excellence Expected podcast, and Digital Marketing Radio. Those are 4 that you should consider and give a go, at least maybe once every week or so. Just touch base. Now, if I've forgotten anything.
Have you mentioned the cookbook?
Oh, yes, that's right. That's how we get to be the national brand manager and the European social media manager. There's a cookbook coming out called, is it The World of Potatoes?
Yeah.
Yes, World of Potatoes by Hillary Steele. And because we're giving it a shout out on the show, we're now sort of endorsing it. And let's face it, now think about this for a minute. It's the Guy R. Cook report, and it's a cookbook. So if Guy R. Cook is endorsing your cookbook, does it get any better? Probably not. Well, maybe if there were, if that, what was that French lady that did the cooking? Anyway, if she endorsed your cookbook, if Oprah endorsed your cookbook, that would be even better. But failing in that, our internationally famous Guy R. Cook report will have to do for that podcast endorsement. That's the shout out. And I think on that note, I'm going to say those 3 magic words: hold still, keep your smile, because I'm going to say them. It's a wrap.